Again, I want to welcome my favorite people on show. I have Olutoyin Obayo, I have Aduni Asaf online, and again, thank you to Bag Grandman Jeremiah Awila, and I want to say thank you so much to Ayo Oyelana. Ayo Oyelana is a therapist, is my colleague. He is a mental health specialist, and if I know he is online somewhere, I will find him out eventually. Again, I want to say welcome to the show. Today is September 11th. The pharmacists, doctors, police officers, military personnel, social workers, everybody out there, everyone that guys. I want to say thank you so much for what you do. We really appreciate you all. And I also want to put out there, I just Lola, you are not muted. Okay. I just want to put out there that a mother's burden is not scripted. This is a first-hand experience that parents, mothers, fathers are coming to share with us how they were able to successfully raise their children, what they are doing, so that we can build and grow children that fears the Lord, children of integrity that will rise up and make their country, that will guard their country and themselves proud. So on the show today, we are talking about single parenting, how single parenting is impacting our children, how it is impacting their relationship with us and their other parents. So I have Aduni on the show herself. She is one of the hosts, and I also have Olutoyin Obayo. She's always been here, and she's always giving us, her own viewpoints and how she, practical example of how she raises her children. Again, disclaimer: this is not black and white. Like this is how you should raise your children, but this is just parents coming together to give ourselves advice, to give ourselves opinion. When I was in this situation, this was what I did. That was what I did. And we can pick from here and there to make it a whole and help us in our journey as parents. Welcome, Adjuni. Welcome, Olutoyin Obayo. And Ayo Omilano, if you are there, I know you can hear me. Welcome to the show.
I can hear you, and that's why I told you, network here in Nigeria is as usual. So I'm with the two. I'm ready. I'm with the two. I'm with all the gadgets. As the person said I should mute, the one has actually gone off. So I had to pick the one you said I should take far away from you. Well, anyway, I've muted. They might not see me. But as soon as the other one comes up, they will see me on camera. Let me say good evening to Madam Oluwatoyin. I think we've met online in one of the meetings we had like this. Good evening, madam. You're highly welcome. Okay, now, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Sorry about the network issue. Take this. Sorry about the network issue. Amalola, can you please come again with what you're saying? I know this evening we are talking about
this month we are talking about single parenting and how it impacts our children. So from your perspective, I know I don't want to be single parenting to just one baby. There are so many reasons why we have a lot of single parenting. Some is by default, some is by no fault of theirs, some is by what I want. Some people decide I want to be a single parent. Some people, not their fault. Some people it happened, because they can't help it. But how has being a single parent rubbed up on our children? How does it rub up on the
Okay, that's a beautiful one. And then when the father and the circumstances could separate them, and then we have single parent, which is my choice.
Yeah.
And also, we have both the father, the mother, being together, and yet one person out of them is single-handedly raising the kids. It's not the mother is not there to be found, or the father is not always to be found. Now, any other country, so I'm going to use
my country as a yardstick to give justice to this topic. When we talk about single parenting and then the effects on the children, so we basically talked about a mother out of marriage single-handedly taking care of his or her kids, or a father out of marriage single-handedly taking care of the kids, or either parents take one of them away and then the whole responsibility goes down on one of them to take care of the kids. Now, we can look at it from this and then this affects them in terms of their mental health, you know. But now we're talking about they've gone past the stage whereby the domestic aspect is there and then they've gone different separate ways. How do you now raise those kids? The effect on them. Basically, some will tell you that, oh, it's a negative effect. Some will tell you that kids that are raised by single parenting are always out of track, they are always drop out. I want to say a capital no to this. I want to say a capital no to this. You can be together with your spouse, raise your kids, and then if you are not placing them in the line of duty as a parent, they would miss it. So they know that this is what the life of their mom revolves around. And then they know that each morning when we wake up, we do morning devotion. They know the day's activities of church. That they know on Monday, they know Tuesday, they know Wednesday, even when I'm not there, I'm not come back from work. They would have prepared themselves once they are back from school. And then by the time I came back late, I've met them in the church. Mine is just come drive direct to the church. So I keep saying it. It is what you are. Bible says, train up your child in the way of the Lord. Basically, it will not depart from it. I keep saying, if you're a wayward mother, believe me, man, these children are looking at you. They will be wayward. Mentally, it's going to affect them. It's good if you, for example, if you're a single mother and you bring different sort of men into your house to sleep. And then what kind of upbringing are you giving to the children? The negative impact are you factoring into the life of the children? I'm using the African context. At a point in time, though, if you don't have a boy, if it's a girl, it simply means that the parent coming to sleep with you will sleep with those girls because they are seeing you as a wayward mom. And then you should be, if it's a boy, there will be a time to respect you no more be there. For crying out loud, the respect will no more be there. So we are looking at it from the African context. In Nigeria right now, when our mom were with our dad, they were enduring, and to some point to not talent was this thing the biblical training, the biblical foundation they did for us. That's to the mental. How do they affect the mental health of the children? Do you understand? How does it affect the mental health? I want to give you a practical example of myself. Something happened 2 years ago, and then my son was not really, I think it affected him. He wasn't really doing academically. And the proprietors of the school was like, oh, it could be because of what happened. I said, no, it's not because of what happened. The point is just that the new teacher, the new class he was in, the teacher did not know what and how the area he needs to take care of him. So I had to call my son, sit him down, question him. In the mental, what is the problem? He said, Mom, no, the teacher does not understand me. And out loud, what is the role of a mother? Can you get what I'm saying? Yes, what can mother? Why? So we should look at the physical aspect of the needs of these children. Remember that either their father is not with you, you are alone with them. So be able to interact in that conflict of being a father and then sometimes some people will tell you, no, it's not possible. It's not possible. And when you start people train your kids. If you've given them some training right from while they were young, and then you place them in the right priority, and then you back them up with prayers. You back them up with prayers. I'm telling you, these children will not deviate. These children will not deviate. I noticed something in the life of my little boy. All of a sudden, he becomes so aggressive. He becomes so, when he wants to express himself, he expresses himself positively and being aggressive. And then you know what I do? The scripture says, I want to say this in Yoruba, sorry. When they don't know I son of it, no. Do you understand? You spell your own and get it out. Say out what is on your mind, and then if you want to whip over it, whip over it. So when I see that the incessant anger was increasing, trust African woman. I didn't say no people at the diaspora should go and try this. I brought out the cane, and then 2-3 inches of the cane on his back, his head will reset. His head will reset, and then when anything happens, it comes back. That's number 2. I've mentioned the mental, I've mentioned the physical. They check the emotional. You know what I mean? It's not all about provision. It goes about their emotions. How have you checked? They must balance together. The mental, the physical, the emotion must balance together. You can't deprive them of their childhood experience and their emotion. There are times I call my boys and I weep in front of them. Yeah. I let them understand what I'm passing through, that let me pour out this. Let me just weep. I remember some months back, I came back and I sat down. I was like a man of 35 years, as if he's my boyfriend, as if he's my husband. And why are you crying? Why are you crying? Wipe your tears. What do you want? I'll buy it for you. And in a jiffy, I came out of the bedroom, went to the sitting room, and he was asking me, Mommy, can you give me 100 naira? I want to buy something. I said, look at who is saying he's going to take care of me. At that point in time, I just smiled. It made me to realize that there are times we need to look up onto these kids, and then that's the period of the mother. At the point in time when I'm old, these children should stand and be there for me. So, because if it's not checked, then it comes to depression. It comes to something you won't be able to handle. Single parenting is not all about freedom. That's what African men or some big people think generally, that when I'm parenting, when I'm alone, I have my freedom. It's a pure love. Being alone doesn't give you the guarantee to misuse your freedom. Being alone doesn't give you the opportunity to do the wrong thing. Being alone doesn't give you the opportunity to go out of the context as a mother. For crying out loud, being alone doesn't give you that 100% to neglect your children and then start pursuing shadows or start pursuing money. The most important thing in these 3 things I mentioned, because I know Tony is going to mention something. The most important thing in these 3 things I mentioned, above all, is to seek God. Is to seek God. As a parent, your burden should be, how do I raise these kids? Amalola, do you know it takes me sometimes to wake up at the middle of the night, go to their room, check them, and place my hand on them. Sometimes it takes me when I'm dressing for them, they are going to school, I pour anointing oil on them. Because these children are our future.
And that was why I said some people are single parent by default, some by no fault of theirs. Things happen, and we find ourselves where we are. And Adune, honestly, thank you so much. You really do touch on some basic aspect of, what we should look out for: the spiritual aspect, the emotional, the mental aspect, the physical aspect is also very, very. We realize that whether by default or not, it used to be 2. Now it is 1. So we have to reorganize a lot of things around our lives.
Something is just all of a sudden you find out that you are just alone, and this is a child, and this is a destiny. that I will give account to God for. That is number one. That is what scares me most. I'm going to stand facing my God to give account over this child.
Before she's going to turn back. Before she's going to turn back.
Okay, she's back.
She's
You're
back.
muted. You're muted.
I'm not.
Yes, so I have to recalibrate my brain. I have to recalibrate a lot of things for the new situation I find myself. And that's what a lot of us don't do. It is no longer the same. It is no longer it is no longer the same person you are when you. So the challenge is who are you going forward? And the moment I know that this is who I want to be going forward, I begin to define my role to these children. Who am I to them? First, I'm their mother. Two, whenever they fact be the can I also be a father to them? Now I have to think of how to find my roles. I have to choose, I have to learn how to choose my battles. And I'm never too proud to say, children, I'm sorry. Actually, I missed it. I was supposed to do 1, 2, 3, but I've done this. Okay, can we reinvent? Can we enjoy it? I hope everybody's with me. So,
Yeah.
it's a big challenge. And I actually thank God for whatever I'm doing because she has eliminated so many ways, spiritual aspect, emotional aspect, the psychological aspect, the physical aspect. And because it's too much work to do for one person, all for the children. It is not the time to play. It is not the time to want to get beside yourself. Money don't play this role. No, money will never play this role. Buying things for your children will never play this role. You have to be there, seated as the mother and father. It doesn't matter whether it's a father that's a single parent or the mother or the woman. Somebody just have to stand up. I just like to say that even in marriage, some people are marriage couple, but it's only one person that's playing the role of that's parenting these children. And if you find yourself in that situation, it's the same thing. Or your husband is in Abuja, you're in Lagos with these children. You are then in the role, just you alone. You have to make all decisions. So really, I think about I cannot help them. I cannot be the best of yesterday because some children are just so weak emotionally. You need to be there for them to be beside them. Some are just okay, some are too strong that they question all your authority. They have a child that question all your authority. What do you do? You have to space them in space with that child. You don't go head to head with your child and say, hey, I'm your mother. I know it. No, you have to step back. Those my two children, they are two different people entirely. So I have to know how to relate with one and to relate with the other, not with the same way. They are two different personalities. How to deal with them differently. So where do I get this? It's because of me learning every day, me reinventing myself. Exactly who are you? You have to keep reinventing yourself as parents, even when you're young, when you're single, because these children, they keep changing. The child that you have 5 years ago is not the one you're going to get 7. The one you get 7 will be different 14, 19. Oh my God, you are in a different world. And by the time they are 21, levels are changing. So that's why you have to keep changing. You have to keep creating. You have to keep reaching. You have to keep like checking resources. Looking at people that go through this process. I have a friend. When my son, instead of me like getting out of it, I want to chilled. I will begin to make discussion. I'll wake him up at night. Because the method my mother told me to wake up at night, 2 a.m. Then we'll have a discussion over it. And there's one thing I don't say to my children. Should we want to suffer? Sorry, I mean, how did I say it in English now?
I told you. I told you.
I don't know I told you myself. I told you this. If anything happened, if you say, Mama, oh, you are disappointed, that's not good.
You mentioned calibrating and reinventing ourselves, and that includes who are you as an individual or as a parent, and the opportunity or the ability for us to be acceptance and open, to challenges from these children, to be able to discuss with them. Now, my thing is, but in a situation,
somebody was
in a situation we have either of the parties saying something negative about, the other party to the children.
You have to call that person down that look, the life of these children and most all this bickering. They just need to be matured. They just need to look for a common ground. And if you want to make so, let's leave these children. Because look, the world these children are going to face out there is tough. It's mean, it's wicked. Don't let us pour some bad stuff into them. Don't pour anything into them from there. Put all your love into them. Talk to your partner. If it's something that you want, let us work and raise these children. I know you cannot be there for them this time, but let me do. Let's come to that point because we should not allow these children to suffer because we find ourselves or put ourselves in a bad situation. It is no fault of theirs. It is no fault of theirs. This is emotional to me because it's no fault of theirs. They just pray to come to a single home. The father themselves there. So you should be able to talk to your partner in a simple way. To be able to say, okay, no, let's take it. These children, we want them to be good. Is that not our goal? Because you have to, do you know one thing? We adults, we are not goal. Most adults are not goal-oriented people. We don't have vision. If you have a vision, if you have a goal, you set it. My ex-husband and son, we have to set these children apart. I've said lots of people called parents. Wonderful parents. And because you need to set their goals. You want to, what kind of a child do you want? Is it a child that is fighting? Is it a child that is doing everything? We have to set our goals. And when we set our goals, both of us will understand and we know the role we play for the goals. Instead of fighting and you keep pouring evil things into the children, what do you want the children to turn out to be? It's tough. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm being emotional here.
I know talking about our children is emotional. When I can also be emotional when I talk about my children. Because as parents, I mean that is. When I was growing up, and my mother would always say something like, "I told you, I'm always like, what do you mean, told you, hey, and it's still happens to your mom in life, But now I understand that. Now I understand. I sit back and like, oh wow, Now I'm able to be like, wow, I want to make a decision. I have to think for them first. The connection I have with them, the invisible or unspoken attachment or unseen attachment I have to them. Before I buy a dress for myself, I think 4 times about them. Before I go to that store and say, okay, yeah, I think I can afford this dress, or I think I can buy that shoe. But my thing is,
okay, but what do you mean by being emotional? I don't emotional because for me, I've been a kind of
my own is a kind of a military terrain.
Now, let me clarify. When we're saying emotional, it's like, when you think of, oh, something happening and it's something that you can avoid. But in a sense, because of the situation, you cannot avoid it. I mean, you'll be emotional about it. And then you think of your children involved in it. You'll be emotional about it. And your heart is going out to them.
I understand from the angle, but believe me, if you're a broken person, because the first question I normally ask God, if anything happens to, why? And help you, never else. Emotion into what God knows. What God knows is, see, if this thing, God is involved. Then the question where you need to get God involved finally is, should I go on or keep waiting? Should I keep tarrying? And what we are talking about keep tarrying is standing in the gap to start praying for Him. Do you understand what I'm saying? We keep praying for Him. Is it that you want to pray for Him to come back? Pray for Him. You want to pray for Him to come on? No. The point I'm trying to drive here now is, at that point where the separation comes in, now, let me tell you something. A man that of the children is not matured. He is not matured. And there are some things that you don't fight yourself. Because the kids are saying it. Your justification will make the kids to see it. And then when you bring it on the table, for something to discuss on, you don't ponder on it. You don't make a lot of effort to waste your energy on it. You will let it be and let the children see it.
I think I would like to, I want us to start rounding up. Unfortunately, time is running out. And again, I want us to round up. And I want us to, 2 minutes, 25. How should we, how should I improve my relationship with my children?
Like what Sonia said, you're single, you find yourself there. You need to first of all retrace yourself and try to get who you are. And then ask yourself the number one question. Do I want to train myself the way my parents trained me? Or do I want to digress in training them in another way? Because there are some lapses that affected your relationship, which you felt you might not want to train your kids like that. I want to say it out to you, Amonola. A mother's body, the most important thing is God. As a mother, whatever situation you find yourself, either it's positive or negative, either it's energy consuming or not consuming, let's put God as the priority. I'm telling you, He will give us direction. If it's the one to come back, we will come back and make it fine. If it's the one to, alternatively, God wants you to go away and get somebody else, He will. We should not stop thinking like God. We are human. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I want you.
Sure.
To let the kids be involved in the affairs of God. If you do that, the physical aspect, the emotional aspect, the financial aspect will be solved. I'm telling you from the practical aspect, from experience, I am telling you, God has been faithful. He has been faithful. And believe me, let even the one that is in the world, the one that felt God has abandoned them, let them retrace their steps and come back to God. He's willing to accept them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Think about the gift that God has put in your hand. It's a great gift. What am I going to do with this?
And you're going to work with that mindset because you're going to give account for these children. I keep talking about it. And you want them to be good people, you want them to be great people. So I'm putting myself to work. And before you start any work, you have to set your goals, you have to set your vision, you have to set your vision, you have to set your goals, you have to have mandates. I know I'm sounding too technical, but if you don't put these things in place, and you have to be teachable,
Yes.
you have to be able to unlearn and learn some things and access resources to be able to manage this new life. They are innocent. Their light. You are their strength. You are their hope. You are their wisdom. So it's a long journey, but with God, because it's a possible work. And we as them have long hope.
Well, let me just drop something. I think one of these Madam Tony is coming on my program. Let him come on it. Let's have him on it. Not on our program. Let's have him on it.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, we'll talk about that. But I want to thank you, Olutoye. I want to say thank you to Barbara, Jeremiah, and Yinka. I want to say thank you so much, Ayo Yirama. He texted me and excused himself because it's kind of in and out. I want to say thank you so much. And on behalf of Ogochukwu Weke, he can't be here today, but definitely in the next 2 weeks, he will be here because we're still going to be talking about single parenthood and how it's rubbing off on our children. You know, and especially, particularly, how our relationship in the African home is impacting our children socially, even out there. So again, this is a disclaimer. This is not a black and white thing. It is not reading on board. It is not like, oh, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. If you're listening to this program, it is a general, personal opinion, personal idea, personal experiences that we're sharing on this show. So, and like everybody has spoken today, we are going to give account about these children. How did you care for these children? How did you manage these gifts that God has given you? How did you build these gifts? Are you building or destroying these gifts? Please, parents out there, whether you're single by default or no fault of yours, whatever your situation is, whether you're double, whether you're single, whether you're triple, please, our children are the future of our nation. They are our future because guess what? They carry our legacy on, even after we demise. So please remember, God is going to hold you accountable for them. They will hold you accountable when they are old enough. So you want to sit down now and start recalibrating yourself and start reinventing the way of how you're raising these children, how you're paying attention to them. But on that note, until I see you soon, my name is